Yellow, my beautiful humans. It's your host, Carlson. It's currently the 4th of August, 2026, 21:57 p.m., and I am at work. I have had a very long and productive day. Um, how do you say that? PSA or TMI? My periods are coming, and oh my God, I am an emotional wreck. Today, I found myself comparing myself to somebody, and then I found myself not even like in terms of relationship, it was more like work. Bro, hormones are crazy. And then I was like, Aisha, Calzone, we don't do that. What is going on? And then I bumped into a colleague I haven't seen in a minute. And she looked at me, she goes, are your periods coming? I was like, yeah. How did you know? I know I have pimples all over my forehead. That's probably hormones, but truly, the heat wave in the UK is not doing me justice. And then on top of that, I've been feeling extremely hot. I have a fan in front of me, and I've been sleeping really well to the white noise, so that's a plus. Enough chatting. Uh, my beautiful humans, I'm so sorry, or I am privileged to say, let's switch that around, shall we? That for the month of August, we're going to be having rerun episodes. Only four, because I'm working mostly on the Patreon and the behind the scenes. The goal of the Patreon, in case you're wondering what I've been yapping about the Patreon about, what I have been yapping about the Patreon, bro. What I have been yapping on about the Patreon. Yes, that makes sense. Um, I plan on it being like a one-stop shop. I'm currently working on having a website for the podcast that's upcoming. Um, but I want the Patreon to include vlogs, to include more content, to include juiciness and amazingness, and it's just the blue room. It's the exclusive club. It's giving vibey content. That is the vibe. I think I'm gonna take a step back publicly and just be full on there. And I don't care if there's one of y'all, 50 of y'all, 100 of y'all, a million of y'all. I fucking love you. I'm doing the love heart, the Gen Z love heart thing that I always struggle with my cousin. I need to go meet up with her because she promised me a hike for my birthday. Okay, enough yapping. This is how you know I love yapping on the podcast, you guys. Like, why I have my webcam with me? Why am I not recording? Because I just washed my hair and I've had a very weird day. Did I talk about the comparison in this one because it's re-recorded? But basically, found myself comparing myself to somebody, and then I had like a heat rush, and then I had pimples on my face, and then my colleague was like, "I think your periods are coming." I was like, yeah, actually they are. I got the notification saying emotional fuckery sign. I'm yapping too much. My beautiful humans, this episode is an ode to you, to the listeners. This is one of my most listened to episodes 2 years in a row. Did you hear that? 2 years in a row. I don't know if I talked about the origin of this, but I wasn't dating at the time. I was actually ghosted, I believe. And I remember sitting ghosted by someone I hadn't gone on more than a date with, but that physical attraction was insane. I was sitting there with my uncle being like, no, he's fit as fuck. And he was like, how fit can a 10-year-old be? I showed him the picture. He goes, whoa, lo. Okay, ma'am. All right, guys, I don't know who's listening to this. I have so many family members who listen to this. This is just how we go. I was trying to find a song. This is how we flow. I don't know what the hell I've eaten because I'm very vibey. You think I'm on some kind of vibe. Okay. This is going so long. Authentically Blue. No. Heartbreak. I recorded this episode on Valentine's 2 years ago because I sat in my house thinking, why on earth are we not talking about heartbreak? Because people do go through heartbreak. And boom, this is how this episode came into fruition. There's a lot of people who go through heartbreak, whether it's ghosting, whether it's physically losing, whether it's a breakup, whether it's like, boom, I don't like you anymore, whether it's being cheated on, God forbid, whether it's death, whether it's abandonment, whether it's not being compatible. There's so many things. Oh my God, I'm yapping. This is becoming more than an intro. But I love this episode and I hope you guys love it too. So this is for you guys. So I will see you next week. I don't have my headphones, but I'm sure this will be okay. Bye, guys. Oh, I completely forgot to say go follow Authentically Blue on all platforms, including Threads. It's Aisha Carlson. And do not forget to sign up to the Blue Room, the Patreon. Download the app, get the free membership, try out the member tiers for a week and see how it is, or I will whoop your ass.
On tonight's program, ladies and gentlemen, we have something that's going to make you sick.
My beautiful aliens, this is Editing Carlson popping in to say I recorded this episode twice. The first time I recorded it in my dad's car, and then I remembered a friend of mine sent me his take on heartbreak for the prompt. I'm going to read it now, and then as you continue, you'll understand what it is. He basically said, there's no specific way of dealing with heartbreak. We are different. First is acceptance, and secondly, don't put it in your head. And then I came into the house, tried to edit it, and include this bit I'm doing right now into the episode, but it didn't upload. It only uploaded half of it. So I was like, damn, am I going to have to do this episode again? So I did the episode again, and then it didn't record the bit of a voice note. So I was like, hey, I'm just going to go with version 1. But in this episode, I basically talk about heartbreak, and I sent a prompt to bunch of my contacts and a few interesting people in my life. And I was like, guys, let me know your thoughts and your ideas. A few people haven't responded, so if they do, I'll do a part 2. But enjoy this episode. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, I despise Valentines, and I hope you enjoy this episode. It's a very rambly one. So if you're experiencing heartbreak, I'm sending you love. The video version is on Patreon. And yeah, goodbye. Hello, my beautiful aliens, and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here to the Authentically Blue podcast. I am your host, Carlson. Hey, if you're watching this on video, I have this on the Patreon. And tonight, I finally finalized, a lot of English. I finally finalized the different tiers for Patreon. We have the tea lovers, which is the lowest tier, and that is for $3. Comes to roughly about, is it 400 or 500 Kenyan shillings, and about £3 for my UK people. Then we have the hot chocolate aliens, and that is the middle tier. I'm gonna have all the prices down below. And then we have the matcha lovers, which is the most expensive. You get video. For all of them, you get video. For the tea lovers, which is the first tier. For the tea lovers, sorry, it's just weird doing video because this is the first time I'm doing a solo episode as a video. Exciting. We are leveling up the podcast. But basically for the tea lovers, you have 7% off merch, which is coming. It's in the works. And then you get all videos that I do on there, and it's like a one-stop shop for all the podcast content. For my tea lovers, for my hot chocolate lovers, very confusing, you get 10% off merch. You get monthly vlogs. You get Spotify playlists. Crazy, I know. Then for my matcha lovers, you get an extra episode and all the perks, and a 14% off merch. That is the vibe. But hey, welcome. It is 12:17 a.m. I'm using my phone. This is how I record. I'm in my dad's car. That's new. The vibe is immaculate. Okay, we're doing new things in a new environment. I think I've only done 1 or 2 episodes in my dad's car. His alarm usually goes off like crazy. That's why I don't like recording in here. But I have realized I am a certified Valentine hater. Okay, not here for the Valentine vibes. Never really liked it, even when I was younger. But now, the hate has solidified. I don't even know what that is. I met up with a friend of mine today. She's going to be a future guest on the podcast, and she's a lawyer. I was so happy to see her.
And I was like, I hate Valentine's. Like, I have literally, and she's like, why do you hate the love, bro? I was like, nah, I love people. You know that. I just don't like the whole idea of it being one day specifically extra love. I don't get it. I was like, I need to go to therapy and unpack why I don't like it. But it is still Valentine in the UK, which is the time on my laptop, and in America, which is where most of my listeners are, 50% of you. Hey guys. And other places around the world, I'm sure, Australia. Point being, I couldn't in good conscience record this episode on Valentine's, even though that was the intention, but I will be dropping it on Valentine's Day. Not in Kenya, but in other places. Anyway, this episode is called Bad at Love, and I'm going to be talking all about heartbreak. I know, insane. I have wanted to do this episode for such a long time. It's kind of weird looking at myself doing this. It's crazy. I hope you guys are enjoying the video content, and thank you so much also for the love you guys have been giving me. It's insane, and I'm so grateful. I think you guys missed the podcast as much as I did, but hey. Okay, a few months ago, probably almost, it's over a year at this point, I messaged every single person on my contacts, who has experienced heartbreak, who I suspect has experienced heartbreak, including family members, including my parents, and an ex-ish. So yeah, and my brother's ex. That is crazy. So those ones I'm going to talk about that at the end. And I basically asked them, hey, I hope you're well. Question for you or people you know who have experienced heartbreak. Curious on how you deal with heartbreak. Do you have any tips? What worked for you to help you heal, and any advice you have for your younger self? And when I tell you the responses have been immaculate, I'm not even kidding. So a few disclaimers before we begin. I need to take a deep breath. It's weird seeing myself doing the video, but y'all want it. So hey, I'm listening. I'm here. I'm listening. A few reminders and a few disclaimers. Everybody's relationship is different, and that's why I reached out to different people to get different perspectives. I think I've always said this on the podcast. We all have different life experiences, different things that trigger us. Me and my brother, I'm the firstborn, my brother is the secondborn. I'm very close to him, but me and him have, partly until I was 17, we lived in the same house with the same, like we were raised by the same people. And then after that, I moved out and lived in the UK. But basically, even when we lived in the same house, we had different perspectives on things because of how he viewed relationships, how he experienced things, how he grew up. Even though it's the same, obviously we were raised differently. So you can come from the same household and have different experiences. You can meet friends who you have similar or very different experiences. That's why I reached out to a huge range of people, and like 20 people responded. So shout out to you if you did respond. So yes, experiences with heartbreak are very different. These different types of relationships, these different types of things that we experience. It's insane. The amount of different types of love people experience. So that's disclaimer number 1. Disclaimer number 2. Some people believe exes can be friends. Some feel strongly against it, some don't. So however you have or are maneuvering your heartbreak, if it's something you're experiencing right now, don't let anybody tell you what to do and how to do it. Okay? Even me. I'm just giving you perspectives and things that have helped me and have helped other people deal with heartbreak. Personally, if you ask me, my thoughts on this, I'm not strongly against being in contact. I think in the beginning, yes, you need no contact. To break off the habit of considering someone and being there with them. But I think after that, like most of my experiences have been very much people I've had friendships with, and then it's grown from that. So we've been able to go back to the friendship zone and move from there, even though that has been more so before the last 2 years. I think in the last 2 years, most of my experiences have been with people who are not my friends, because that would be kind of weird if you think about it. Although I was the type of person who I need to have a friendship basis with someone before going into a relationship, but I hear you if you're not I've kind of converted to the other side. Disclaimer number 3. There are no rules in love. Do what your heart pleases. Of course, there's an element of love is not logical. And I do think there are different types of love. You may find yourself doing things that you would never have expected yourself to do because you love someone unconditionally or you just feel so deeply for somebody. And on the other hand, I think if it's unhealthy or triggering or unsafe in any way, I think you need to back off and confide in people who care for you. So there's a balance. As I said, there's different types of loves. This is just what my beautiful aliens, you guys, and people in my life have experienced. Another minor disclaimer I have is I was telling someone dear to me recently, exes come back. They always come back. And she didn't believe me until it happened. And I was like, bruh, I came home after hanging out with you that day and he called me. That's just how life is. They do come back. And if they do come back, personally, I think here I am giving unsolicited advice. But before we dive in, I just personally think there are very few situations where you can take exes back. Very few situations. Okay, they're very specific. So do yourself a favor, accept what has happened, respect yourself. I think that's huge, and look forward. Don't look backwards. Shall we dive in? Okay. Matcha break. I need to drink. I've been talking for 9 minutes. And I'm kind of nervous that I'm rambling. This is my mom's mug. She got it from work and I'm obsessed with it. Okay, the light is there. Let me see if I can block it. It's very cutesy. Okay, I'm going to play a few voice notes in a minute. My mom is going to walk in at any point and she's going to think, girly, ma'am, what are you doing? Okay, I read you guys the prompt, so I'll read it again just in case. This is what I texted people in my contacts. Hey, I hope you're well. Question for you or people you know who have experienced heartbreak. Curious on how you deal with heartbreak. Do you have any tips? What worked to help you heal? And any advice would you give your younger self? I'll give my advice at the very end, and I'm going to save my favorite response for the very end as well because there's so many. Okay. My aunt said, I have a bunch of aunts. I'm not going to say which one. 2 of them responded. Number 1 is mindset going in. What are you seeking in this relationship, or what were you seeking in the relationship you were in? There's so many different people out there and there's so many things that trigger you, is what she said. And life goes on. Ask yourself, what are you seeking in this relationship? What are your values? What do you value in this person? Basically, self-reflect. Okay, I'll just say it. She's a therapist right now, so it's giving therapist vibes. Then the second person, who is my bestie, I have a few people who are very close to me. I'm tempted to name names, but I didn't even tell them it's going to be anonymous, but I'll just keep this anonymous and give you context with their experience, her experience. She's someone who's experienced heartbreak a bunch of times. So she said, there's different types of relationships that one can be in, and not all loves are the same. Moving on depends on the person. So she said for her, she has to be aware of the situation and see how things are. And that's what's worked best for her in the past. And heartbreak has affected her perspective on life, whether it's being a hopeful romantic, having bad tasting guys. And the last thing she said is having closure is very important to her. I hear that. Personally, my thoughts on closure, I think I always used to be the type of person who needs closure. And then I've come to the realization that sometimes it just doesn't add up what the other people are saying. So you have to give yourself that closure because they just come up with dumbass excuses. Not this being a bashing episode, but it's true. Sometimes when you think of something, you never know what other people are thinking and going through and experiencing and projecting. I'll give you an instance. A situation with me, someone who I love so deeply ended up telling me that they cannot love someone deeply. Like they just know in their bones they can't love anybody. I'm sorry, where was this when we started dating? And it's been a few years. Okay. So hey, closure. When I had that, I was like, what the fuck were you doing? Worrying about this person all this time. The mathing, I didn't blame myself, but it just gave me the relief of it wasn't me, it's you. Anyway, the visuals go crazy right now. If you're watching this, I hope you're enjoying. Okay, another person said, this is my brother's ex. He's gonna murder me, but he doesn't listen to the podcast. He'll probably listen to this one. This is before they broke up, but I had an inkling they were about to break up. Kind of messy of me. Anyway, she said, concerning breakups, I guess what I would have told my younger self would have been not to think like I've lost something that was mine, but rather it wasn't mine. And truly believe that someone who deserves me will come and find me when the time is right. I like that mindset. This is by somebody who used to be known as my prince. Not anymore. He said, personally, I prefer not to think about it and move on with my life. But on rare occasions, I will sit back and listen to some songs as I think about the heartbreak and what I could have done better in the relationship so as to not repeat the mistake again. I was smiling because he is not in a space to be in a relationship right now, and he can be toxic on purpose. If you believe in astrology or follow that, he's a Scorpio. I'm just going to say that. The next person who's going to be a future guest on the podcast said, I think mine is a bit different. I thought I had experienced heartbreak, but in all honesty, there are levels to it. My advice, take time for yourself. I think after every relationship, I prefer building and investing in myself. Younger self, this is what I would have said. You will still get up the next day. You will still need to go about your day. So it's not the end. Show yourself some grace. This is so her. I was speaking to her today and I was like, bruh, reading this is literally, I can hear her voice. She also said, and learn to let go. You can't carry every heartbreak in your heart. It builds up and you end up sabotaging many future and potential and pure relationships. Shout out to you, ma'am. This is from, I would say I was his first love. He used to write me letters when I was 9 or 10 years old in Kericho. Crazy. And then he said, I just accept and let go. That's how I deal with heartbreaks. Advice for younger self, lower your expectations, accept and figure own ways to deal with it. Very nice. I feel like I need a breath. I'm gonna take a quick matcha sip. 1 second. Okay, I am back. This is from my bestie in high school. I went to 2 high schools, the first one, shout out to you, St. Nicholas. And he said, heartbreak hits you hard. What I'd say is it doesn't matter about your setbacks, your comeback is what matters. That is so him. What's funny is asking all these different people. Oh, I think that's my mom. Maybe not, because it's gone the opposite way. But I think what's interesting asking all these different people in my contacts who are my friends or were at some point is I can see it's so them. Like the response is very them. Okay, this person has been on the podcast as a guest, so I'll let you figure that out. And they said, I had one experience of heartbreak. Reason why I never dated again. Laughing emoji. But it does take a long time. Also, I just cried a lot in prayer, asking Allah, which is God, to heal my heart. Cry whenever and get a hobby. I watch a ton of K-dramas, anything to keep my mind busy, exercises, etc. It takes a while, but it eventually fades. And you might occasionally remember it, but I just push it away. I also I also consistently remind myself that it happened because I'm destined for better. And that gave me hope, strength, and the ability to heal. I'm wishing you all the best. That is so sweet. This person I met once. We went to high school together. Well, as I was leaving the high school, he joined. He's such a joker. Shout out to you, Eugene. Yes, I said your name. He said, congratulations on not experiencing heartbreak. You cheeky ass fucker. Next, she said, hey, funny you ask me this. I'm not sure how to deal with heartbreak. I've been hurt so much, but I can't say I've ever fully healed. I'm still trying to figure out the healing part. I'm still hurting very much. Hey, I'm so sorry to hear that. I asked a bunch of friends and got some really good responses. Oh, we'll share when the episode comes out. That's what I responded. And then she said, huge thing that helped me is people come and go. Nothing is forever. Appreciate the good, forgive the bad, and keep moving forward. Ooh, and you are worthy of love. I think once I told people that it's for the podcast and not for me, they felt a little bit more comfortable because some people were like, girlie, are you okay? And I was like, sir, I haven't talked to you since high school. I don't think I'll be reaching out to you if I had a break. No offense. This is the lovely Jess. Shout out to you, ma'am. She hasn't experienced heartbreak, so she asked two people, and they said, I knew it wasn't meant to be, and someday someone will, and that helps me move on. I agree with you, whoever you are, Jess's friend. And then the second person said, I developed a trauma response and commitment phobia. That's how I dealt with my heartbreak. That is, honestly, reading that sounded, it's like a humorous, funny response. But for me, I was like, that's sad. And I'm sure there's people out there who experience this and don't know how to maneuver that and move on. I mean, if you are experiencing this, sorry, I literally got zoned out and I forgot this is video. If you are experiencing this, I think take time to heal, but don't not put yourself out there. I'm one to speak because I don't put myself out there in that way. All right, this is my A-level friend from London. She's currently in Belgium, Bulgaria, and she said, the most painful experience is heartbreak, as it's someone in your world and feels like grieving a death, but your mind can't process it because it realistically isn't. It feels like a brick in the heart. The more emotionally invested you are, the deeper it hurts because you give a part of yourself that you can never get back, and the element of being strangers makes it more difficult. As much as you remove it from your mind, the heart always knows. This is sad, man. Especially if the relationship is deemed a situationship or has no real label, but there is actions and experiences that say otherwise. After experiencing it, you get numbed out, but others hurt. Okay. Sorry, I was reading this for the first time in a minute because I got these responses back in May last year. And I'm like, my heart just feels heavy. I'm like, I need a breath. Okay, and then tips this person shared is don't avoid it but actually process it. Journal your feelings, acknowledge the good things and look back at the good and the memories. Vent the emotions legally, is what the person said. For example, gym or screaming. Re-find yourself, delete messages or things linked to memories or close chapters. Be around people that love you and remind yourself of you. Do stuff alone. Treat yourself to things, whether that is like do solo things. And then they said, do things that you do with the other person, but do them alone. So you're rewriting the events and you're showing up for yourself. Then the other person said, the same person said, advice for my younger self, put yourself first, learn to love yourself. So when you are treated like shit, you can walk away and not tolerate that behavior. When in a relationship, it's key that you are independent individuals added on to each other's lives. And that you are two whole than conjoined. That when in a relationship, it's key that you're independent individuals added onto each other's lives, and that you are two whole, then conjoin your lives together and be one. Because when leaving that relationship, you leave parts of yourself. Then if you're two individuals, you can leave intact. And also add, with time in hardship, the ease will come, but you have to stay patient and trust that you will be okay, one day at a time type of vibe. I think one thing I wanted to add was that normally heartbreak is known to be between romantic partners, but it can happen within friendships and stuff. Completely agree. And I don't think this is my friend who responded. I think she asked a few people who she knows, so shout out to you. I think that sounds like such tangible and amazing advice. I hope listening to that was good. I feel like I need to read that again. I'm just gonna do it one more time because I feel like I was processing while reading. Most painful experience is heartbreak. It's like you're grieving a death, but your mind can't process it because it realistically isn't. It feels like a break in the heart. It feels like a break in the heart. Guys, I don't know if I'm saying that wrong, but I'm reading exactly how the person texted it, but I'm like, that doesn't sound right. The more emotionally invested you are, the deeper it hurts because you give a part of yourself that you can't ever get back. And the element of being strangers makes it more difficult. As much as you remove it from your mind, the heart always knows, especially if the relationship is deemed a situationship or has no real label, but there is actions and experiences that say otherwise. It sounds like this person has experienced a bunch of different heartbreaks. And then the tips, like I said, I'm not going to repeat that part. And then, yeah, I wanted to reread the first section because I feel like I was processing it as I read it. But shout out to you if you're listening, and thank you for the input. This is one of my old roommates' cousin, and she said, I don't think I have any tips. I guess just sit with your emotions and feel everything that comes your way. You'll eventually heal. I agree with the sitting with your emotions. My cousin, lay low. Shout out to you, doctor. She said, I would say time heals all wounds, as cliche as that is. With time, you allow yourself to grow, and hence you kind of are no longer phased by the situation. With time, you allow yourself to grow, and hence you kind of are no longer phased by the situation. That I said that twice. I don't think of heartbreak as someone doing me wrong, just more of a lesson that'll let me not make that same mistake again, and how to navigate future situations. But honestly, it's easier said than done. I think it's also important to give yourself some grace and allow yourself to grieve, because ultimately you did lose someone you care about. Who is the wrong person for you. And then secondly, you can do something that makes you happy, like go out with your friends or do a hobby. Do not keep yourself indoors because you will feel upset. I agree. Okay, I think I'm repeating this person. This person I called yesterday, and he was like, ma'am, tell me about your love life. I was like, sir, stop being a gossip. Anyway, he said, focus on new things. Hit the gym. He said, was looking nice here time after the gym, nikaoga nikarudi soko, which means like hit the gym, and then he felt good physically. He had a shower and went back into the relationship market. When you physically feel good, you're better. Like, it gives this person a sense of self-esteem to maneuver the dating world. One of my close friends said, personally, I used to think that getting a rebound fixes things, but I found out the hard way it's better to just feel through the pain and focus on yourself and moving forward. Then we have another aunt of mine who said, you are a pot of gold. Give yourself affirmations. The narrative, not sure what they meant by this. I don't know whether they meant change the narrative. I do not advise that, but narrative in terms of my life was written before I was born, which is what Muslims tend to believe. Trust that good things are coming your way. Know that you're amazing and great. Know that amazing and great opportunities are coming your way. This is the process. Trust it, and know good things will happen. And if it's not right, does not work, breaks perfectly, and be. Sorry, guys. How we will type sometimes is crazy. This is the process. Trust it and know good things will happen. And if it's not right and it doesn't work, it shall break beautifully, is what the person was trying to say. Interesting advice. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. I think we have like 5 more left. So this is my ex's friend, and they said okay. It's in third person, so I'm gonna bear with me as I figure this out. So he said they break up with her. She feels it's her fault. She feels taken advantage of. She tries to be smart in the next relationship, doesn't give it 100% until the other person does. She is distracted by loved ones. She remembers the heartbreak in full force. She loves rom-coms and ice cream. She then remembers to know her worth. She puts on makeup to feel better. She has confidence, self-esteem, and is strong. I think they were trying to explain the process this person goes through while experiencing heartbreak. It's very interesting hearing different people's experiences, because it's different. I'm smiling because this next one is the guy, my ex. He said he talks to people, tries to self-reflect. Laughing my ass off because it doesn't feel like that was the case with me, but anyway, he self-reflects, he distracts himself with people. I don't know what that means. Bombastic eye roll, his partner. Sorry, bruh. I don't know if I wrote the bombastic eye roll because he doesn't speak like that. Oh, this is insane. I should have read this before I started recording. Basically, he said he tries to talk to people and figure out the why. He then self-reflects, and then he distracts himself with people. And then he said he considers his partner's investment and he gets some return in it. And when he was telling me that, I wrote a bombastic eye roll. And then with the people part, when he said he distracts himself with people, I put exclamation mark and like question mark, because what the heck? And then he said most of his relationships, when they end, he ends it as like mutual to like kind of good. He tries to end them on good terms. As a kid, he said he would listen to 2000 R&Bs, telling himself that they're not worth it. Heartbreak, it's preps your support system. Like he preps his support system so they know before he goes into a relationship, and if there's heartbreak, that Loki feels like premeditated shit. Fixing an issue. Instead of fixating on an issue, whether it's the why, he reflects. He processes by focusing on the gym and the habits in his life. And then for his second heartbreak, he said he would seek approval from people, focus on female philosophers, and wanted attention. That's kind of crazy. That made me relive memories I did not want to relive. Only for you, my beautiful aliens, I would do shit like this. Okay, then who do we have? I think we need a matcha sip moment. Let me just turn off the mic. Okay, next we have some of my favorites, starting off with Sharon. Ooh. None of the people in my life know I have such a huge range of friends, literally from Kericho Primary, a whole other town in Kericho, so far away from the capital. And then the capital, I went to 2 different high schools. I have met people through the podcast. I have met people, like the amount of friends I have is crazy. I have friends in London that I met through organizations I worked with and school. And then in Manchester, I have people I know from uni and people I know through working. So a huge range of people. Some people have the same names. if you listen to this, it's not who you think it is, okay? Anyway, as said, it hurts for a while, for a long while, but you get through it. Time heals, talking to friends, crying through it. Sometimes it feels like it's not gonna end. Oh, I was like, is it recording? You can do better for you, even if they were not great to you. Don't stay in toxic or bad relationships when they end. And then be there for people who experience it. And talking about it keeps you sane. I hear you, girl. Okay. This person, I think I'll play their voice note so I can take a minute. Where are you? Wait, let me see. God, I wish that you would thought this through.
I can't tell you what helps people heal during breakups, really, because
This is the person who I was just talking about. So if you want to hear the voice note.
all I can just say is it hurts for a while, for a long while, but you get through it. The only way I've been through heartbreak is through time and talking about it to my friends, I guess, and crying about it. But yeah, it's just time. It just takes lots of time, and it might not seem like it's gonna end.
Oh.
It's gonna end and your life stops when he leaves, or like when you leave because you decide you can't like take it anymore. But with time, you kind of like learn to live for yourself and love yourself even more and put your value so much higher because you realize you can do better, you know? Not just, even if he was like a great guy, like you can do better for yourself, because if you stayed with a person that was hurting you, I don't think it's okay. And then you learn after heartbreak that it was not okay, you know? So my advice is, yeah, just give it time and be there for your friend who's experiencing heartbreak, because I know it seems like a lot, like they talk about it a lot, but it's only because it hurts. And the only way to keep yourself sane is by talking about it. And what works, an advice I would give to my younger self, I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe probably love yourself. Like, because I know the people who are mean to you are horrible people. But if you love yourself, life gets so much better. So much better.
Okay, that is the end of the voice note. I hope you enjoyed that. I got off the page. Thank you so much for contributing. I'm trying to find these 3 more voice notes that we need to listen to. Here we go.
Sometimes when we love, we might feel like and we get heartbroken, we might feel like we've let go of something that, something for an eternity, something we thought that would last an eternity, and it hasn't. And of course it's going to put you through the gutters. You're gonna experience grief. Like, you're gonna grieve this person because well, you're no longer connected to them as you were before. It's going to be hard to deal with that because, for one, this person, you won't really, really be close to this person as you were before. So you're going to have to deal with that. Where am I going to take that energy? And then, of course, there's the pain. And, of course, there's the grief. This person is no longer with you in your life.
Okay. We have 2 more voice notes, but I think that was really beautiful. And I completely agree. Okay, I'm trying to find it. This was my all-time favorite. I actually can't wait for you guys to listen. She basically said, she first sent me 2 messages. So I'm gonna play you the voice notes. Actually, I'll read you the message and play the voice notes. She said, bruh. Sorry guys, just trying to figure this out. So I said, hey, thank you for taking the time thinking it through. Okay, I'll just play the voice notes and read you my response.
Hey girly, I'm gonna reply with the voice note because I can't be asked to type, but I saw your message and honestly I've been thinking about it all day. Like, damn, this is a very deep question. I hope you ain't heartbroken. Who's putting you through heartbreak? Eh? Is it for you? Hey, everybody go chop breakfast. Banner Boy once said. Anyway, let's get into it. Let me be serious now. First of all, honestly, I've had my fair share of heartbreaks. Honestly, when it happens, it feels like, okay, this is gonna feel so cheesy. It's gonna sound so cheesy, but it genuinely feels like your heart has been ripped out of your chest. I think as a person, I've recently realized that however much I try, I'm a lover girl. Okay, I can't do the no emotions, no what kind of type thing. I'm a lover girl, and obviously, being a lover girl, you fall easy. You know, you fall in love very easily. You find that one person and they do things, they make you things, they do things to you, that feel good. And, you start imagining, you start hoping for things, you start basically go a little bit delulu, you get a bit of your delusions. They give you the flutters, every time you think about them, and it feels like it's working. And then when that day finally comes, when most of the times in my experience, when it's gotten to a point whereby it's time for heartbreak or it's time for us to part ways, I would already know. So I've probably dealt with the emotions, well, some of the emotions before, so it doesn't feel as hard when it's time to walk away for good. But in terms of the heartbreak, it's difficult. I guess as a person with an avoidant personality, it all depends on what kind of person you are, I think. But because I have an avoidant personality, I found it was easy to talk about it, with my friends and just tell them, this is happening. I feel sad, I miss this person, and, cry it out. Let yourself feel all the emotions, because if you don't, baby, they gonna catch up with you, or you're gonna carry them to the next person. So deal with those emotions first. Let yourself feel. The same way you accepted to feel the love is the same way you should accept to feel the heartbreak. Just let it run through, let it course through your veins. Just your friends help. And the no communication thing, it seems bizarre, but I think it does help. But also at the same time, I'm one of those people that I need closure. I have to close all the doors, and in my head get it that you actually ain't shit, and this is finished. Like, I deserve better, you deserve better, or whatever case is going to be, just have to convince yourself. And affirmations. Do affirmations for yourself. You have to remind yourself that, you have to remind yourself of all those things. And the best words my therapist told me that have been really helpful to me in
Oh, sorry guys. How dare it cut off when we talk about therapy?
In terms of heartbreak or letting anything go is, when it comes to people, first of all, you met them at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which means at some point you didn't have them and you were okay without them, right?
Yep.
So your life's not going to end all of a sudden just because they've gone. No, you've lived without them before and you can live without them again. They're not paying for your bills. They're not feeding you. They're not bathing you. They're not running your life. Like, there's nothing much they're contributing to your life. Whatever they're contributing, it can be replaced. Anyone is replaceable. Just think about it as there's 7 billion, more than 7 billion people on this planet. I'm sure there's one person out there who can fulfill something, or who can even at least try, or even come close. So don't feel like it's the end of the world. But also at the same time, once you're done with the heartbreak and everything, open yourself up to new love. Don't stay hurt and bitter and whole phases and all these things. Not bashing anyone who's done whole phases. I've had my fair share of it, but I think let yourself love. Open your heart up to other people, because you don't know what's in store for you. Give the hurt in, let it get broken again, do the cycle again, all over and over again. Because it will take time to find your person, but I think there is a person out there for someone. Yeah, I don't know if that helps. Sorry, this is very long.
Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was one of my closest friends. And then I responded saying, hey, thank you for taking the time and thinking it through. It's not for me. I'm doing an episode on heartbreak for the podcast. I hear you on being a lover girl and romantic. That's the only way to live authentically, to be yourself. And then I was like, girlie, Delulu is the only Solulu, because I really do be like that sometimes. Sometimes. We live life for the plot, but hey, the plot has benefits, and you have to be realistic sometimes. Okay. Then I said, that's so true. Feeling your emotions fully is the only way through. I'm happy to have you have good people in my life. I'm happy you have good people in your life to turn to, and I'm grateful I'm one of those people. No communication. Yeah, I need closure as well. That's the only way I can move on to. I swear, with my heartbreak, that's how it worked. Like, I really needed closure. No one, that freaking fucking idiot said that they cannot love. I was like, sir, I'm sorry. What the heck? And then they told me this when I had already moved on and found closure by myself. That's why I think in the beginning, I don't know if I touched on this, but she touched on it on her voice note when she said, sometimes you just have to ride. Sometimes you just have to be with someone until you know that they're not shit. And it was like that with my last relationship. Like, I really, even if people around me were like, girlie, you deserve better, you need better, like, you are way more than this. I think a huge thing for me was, I love this person unconditionally. I needed to let that shit go. I really needed to know that they ain't shit. And once I figured that out, I'm sorry, it's me and my love and me who's making this special, because different friendships, relationships, not situationships, you don't do that anymore. Different any type of relationship I have in my life, I bring the magic in. I know how I think, it's like affirming myself and really knowing I am the shit. Like the reason this podcast, you guys tune in, or the reason why people, and to have amazing interactions in my life is because of me and how I think and how my brain works, and super grateful for that. But sometimes you have to remind yourself, and it's not being cocky, because I know I'm very humble, but you have to know your worth sometimes. And I'm here for that. Anyway, so yeah, if you're in one of those relationships, like I have someone in my life who looked at me in 2022 who was experiencing this and was like, "Ma'am, what are you doing? This is gone beyond Delulu. Like, I know you're delusional and shit, and you do things for the plot, but this is too much." And I was like, "You don't understand." And 2024, they went through the exact same thing. And they're like, "Ma'am, I don't know how I was judging you 2 years ago." I was like, "I know." And the thing I'll tell you is, love yourself enough to move on. Love yourself enough to just go through things and not guilt trip yourself and feel horrible about things, because life is way too short for that shit. Okay, we're kind of getting into the segment of me, so I'm going to wrap this up. And then I said, no communication, yeah. I need closure too. That's the only way I can move on. I swear with my heartbreak, that's how it worked. And I said, that's so true. You're fine before them and you will be fine after. You're not dependent on them. And that's such a good way to look at it. It's kind of sad, the replaceable bit, but yeah, very true. There is someone for everyone. I like it. I don't do affirmations as much as I should. And I was like, you have a wonderful therapist. Thank you, Gali. I hope you're well. All right. I think there's a wrap on what everybody said. Oh no. So that's done with the voice notes. And then we basically have 4 more. This is so long. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Okay. Someone said, her name is Cassandra. She said, allow yourself to feel everything. Try your best. Number 1, allow yourself to feel everything. Number 2, try your best to reflect on your shortcomings. Try your best to reflect on what your shortcomings were in the relationship so you can avoid or at least identify the patterns. And then number 3, restore your self-esteem. Jalel said, never stay alone or do nothing. Keep yourself busy. And he was like, ma'am, are you all right? I was like, yes, I am. Don't worry, it's for a podcast episode. He's also a featured guest on the podcast. And then Ashu said, one of my nicknames is Ashu. Only very close people call me that, but we have the same nickname and we went to high school together. He said, I'm not going to lie to you and say it's easy or gets easier, because every time feels bad, if not worse. But what I do now is instead of trying to understand why it happened or why I'm heartbroken, I try to focus on how to get over the situation and move on. So I'll say to myself, maybe it wasn't meant to be and I wasn't seeing anything or hearing everything being said. And so I'm out of that situation and I give myself peace through that. I've stopped dwelling on why and focusing on moving forward. It really helps. So a tip would be, never think and feel like it's your fault, because most times it really is not. And so you need to not dwell on it. Keep it as a memory, a good memory. Don't even get bitter about it, because bitter means overthinking it. And that's what helped me heal. To be honest, I kind of just forgave all my exes last year, or anyone I felt who did me wrong, and it gave me so much peace. To my younger self, I don't know what I'd tell him, but I would for sure say that it did get better, and we did make it past phases and things we didn't think we could get past. And somehow in the end, it all works out. Sorry guys, I'm taking deep breaths because it's like kind of overwhelming reading these, because I'm like relating to some of it and I'm like, bruh, people really experience shit in this lifetime. Like, you're really not alone. I hope listening to this gave you guys a perspective to see everybody experiences heartbreak. There's so many different types of heartbreak. Okay, last one. Shout out to you, Miss Dia. I know you listen to the podcast consistently. She said, okay, so I'd break it down into categories. Spiritual, number 1. Frankly, I'd say I've only had 2 heartbreaks in my life, and both were very stupid. I'd say it was LDR. So what advice I'd give to my younger self is, don't indulge in things such as a haram haram relationship, which means like not Islamic relationship, because it's only going to come out with a lot of negativity. It's not real love. It's a form of Satan, and verily you will get disappointed. So there's no absolute way a so-called Muslim, in quotation, can be happy forever after being in a relationship that's not halal, like the correct way to do it Islamically. Allah says, God says, anything that started off bad will always end up in a bad way. So how I dealt with it at the time, I dealt with it horribly. I cried a lot. I had insomnia. I lost appetite, and I felt like my world was over. You know why? Because I didn't have a strong faith. If I had a strong faith at the time, I'd be able to acknowledge my mistake and say to myself, it was for the better. It was a haram relationship, and my Lord was just protecting me because he knows it's haram and knows what's best for me. So the spiritual way to heal with a heartbreak is to firmly believe that this was for the sake of God, and God loves you. He protects you, and he had conversations you didn't know, things about the person who broke your heart that you don't and would have never known. Sorry, I thought I saw someone at the gate. So if you have strong faith, you'd feel your pain for a bit, but quickly you'd be reassured by the belief that your Lord loves you and protects you from someone that could have potentially harmed you, your family, or ruined your life. You know why? Because Aisha, everything that's meant to be will be. Kun fayakun, be and be it. That's all Allah has to say for something to happen. So if you are not meant to be with someone, things like heartbreak would happen. I believe the spiritual way to handle it is to pray to God to help you get over being emotionally attached, to engage in more dhikr, which is Islamic prayers, and extra prayers, and she put that in, and extra prayers, and have a firm, oh no, okay, sorry. I opened a whole new page. Now. Bruh, I was in such a flow. I believe the spiritual way to handle it is to pray to God to help you overcome being emotionally attached, because my Lord has something way better in store for me, and this was just a test, and my Lord is protecting me from the greater good. If you yourself feel like you need a break, you should take a break and focus on your deen, which is religion. Pray to God to bring you goodness sooner. Soon I'll send you some prayers that help. That's so sweet of her. Now, the society way to deal with it. Take care of yourself, girl. Embrace yourself. Love yourself. Empower yourself. Sorry. I feel like I need a matcha sip. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I'm just trying to think what time my mom's gonna come in, because it's 1:11 a.m. on the 15th. I'm like, Mama, where are you at? Anyway, she's gonna be like, what is happening? I hope I finish this before she comes in. Now, it's fine if she does, just saying. Now, the society way to deal with it is take care of yourself, girl. Embrace yourself, love yourself, empower yourself. Remind yourself you deserve better. Start doing things you love. Find a new hobby. Make new good friends. Be in a healthy environment. Do things that are healthy for your mental health. Get natural dopamine. Go on walks, take cold showers, even go for a morning walk or jog. You'd appreciate nature more and the blessings you have around you. Remind yourself your worth. Feel great about yourself. Pamper yourself. Strictly at home only, lol. I don't encourage you to beautify yourself when you're outside. Pamper yourself by taking long baths, showers, do face masks, go to the spa, take care of yourself, get a massage. Work on yourself as a person. Learn from your heartbreak so you know. Sorry, I got distracted. Work on yourself as a person and learn from your heartbreak so you know what you can get next time. What? Sorry. Work on yourself as a person and learn from your heartbreak so you know what to do next time. Moreover, always remember, what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stay a little. Bruh, can you tell this matcha is doing me wonders? I feel like it's giving me a vibe. Moreover, always remember, what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. Take it on like a champ, nothing to be ashamed of. Think of it as another fall you had in your trip of life, and get up proudly and remember who you are. Love yourself dearly, because self-love comes first, girl, and it is not selfish at all. As a matter of fact, it's so healthy for your mind, body, and soul. Start changing your diet, start eating healthy. That will I thought I had a cut outside. Start changing your diet, start eating healthy. That will naturally make you happier and increase your good moods. Do things that you love. Spend more time with family and the people that do love you. To remember, no matter what happens, you always have people that are on your side and that will always love you. Furthermore, just mainly focus on yourself. It's all about you, girl, with the love heart emoji. Gotta remember who you are, because you are that girl. And if I'm being honest, from what I see, I may not know you in and out, but Allah Mubarak, you've got your own podcast, you're currently studying, you've got family to stay with in Manchester, you've got a beautiful charisma and character, and you attract good vibes and energy. So don't forget that. All these advice come from the bottom of my heart, so I hope you find goodness in them. This made me so emotional towards the end, because she really did tailor this, like, for me specifically. And some of those things I don't have anymore, because my lovely family moved to Morocco. Anyway, I'm going to pause the episode here and then finish it in the room, because I need to go inside. It's getting a bit stuffy in my dad's car. I'm like, this is a bit uncomfortable. And there's one message I got that's on my other phone that I need to record. So, catch you guys in a moment.